It states here that your Executive of West Australia is constituted by the Governor-General of Australia or the Governor of the state who represents the Crown. Well, excuse me, folks, I'm a farmer. How the hell can you represent the Crown if you threw her out? It's like coming home and you find someone else sitting in the kitchen. So who the hell are you? Well, I took over while you were out in the paddock. The government of the day and the public service. The role of the executive is to administer the laws enacted by Parliament. Now, they got all that wrong. Every bit of that, line by line, is exclusively a lie. And we'll go for them later, Cobber, please. Extract from booklet supplied. Now, that's an extract from booklet supplied by the Supreme Court of West Australia at page 2 and 3. The next one. Beasley's statement. Now, we got this from your website. And I think you probably checked after we said it last time. Is it back on your website?
No, it's not. We can't authenticate.
Okay. Let me ask the other question. Why was it on your website but then removed from your website? Because that's where we got it. Now, we haven't taken it off our work, but thank you, you did put it on. What it says, this is what it says. The United Nations has given Federal Parliament a mandate of ownership for houses, farms, property and business to government control once the Republic has been proclaimed. If you sleep on your rights, you lose them. Keep going. Constitutions and oaths of allegiance. Supreme Court Act 1935, West Australia's second schedule. That's the former oath, the one they had to take, but then when the Crown went out, they changed the oath. I do swear that I will well and truly serve as Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth II. Next one, Darren. All these are now on the DVD. As soon as they appear on there, they're on the DVD. We will give Neil a reference, and then you can order them through Neil for all the One Nation people. But after today, with permission, this is videoed, and once it goes up on that screen, it's on DVD. So I don't have to read the whole lot. Current oath. I insert an oath according to oaths, affirmations and declarations 2005. See, that's happened after 2004. That I will faithfully serve the people in the state of West Australia. Changed oath. But how can you have the state of West Australia without the Crown? Well, somebody change your jurisprudence. Next one, please. High Court of Australia Act. Now, that's the act that overrules the other acts. So all the judges of the High Court said, I do swear that I will bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. As far as I know, that oath is still there. But who's the Chief Justice of the High Court today? French, a judge from Western Australia. Well, how can he be a judge from West Australia if he took the Crown out? But sitting as the Chief Justice of the High Court. What happens to the other 6 judges who say, hello, French? They're an accessory to the fact. If you sleep on your rights, you'll lose them. Next one, please, Darren. Interpretation Act 1984. And going back to a question you asked last time we were here, Ian, you said, how could this judge say the executive is the Crown? You can't unless you repeal that. Because it says at Section 5 who the Crown is. It says Her Majesty, His Majesty, the Queen, the King or the Crown means the Sovereign of the UK, Australia and other realms. Head of the Commonwealth includes the President. Anybody repeal the Interpretation Act 1984, West Australia, Section 5? Did a judge state that the executive is the Crown, repeal that? No. He was lying and he was conning the people of Australia in a judgment. Acts Interpretation Act 1901, Section 16. In any act reference to the sovereign reigning at the time of the passing of such act or to the Crown shall, unless the contrary intention appears, be construed as reference to the sovereign for the time being. Have a look at the Supreme Court Act. Acts, Amendment and Repeal Courts and Legal Practice Act. Section 130 of the Supreme alters the Supreme Court Act 1935. It takes out the allegiance. The second schedule is amended by deleting our Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, inserting said the state of West Australia. In Fiji, they called that a coup. Where's the Aussie? Well, where's the church? Well, where's the RSL? Because they say, lest we forget. Well, they all go back and have another drink. Keep going, folks. Commonwealth Constitution Act, Section 42. That's the one that binds the Constitution. Oath or affirmation of allegiance. Every senator and every member of the House of Representatives shall, before taking his seat, make and subscribe before the Governor-General or some person authorize an oath or affirmation of allegiance in the form set forth in the schedule. What's the schedule? I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen. Now, how could any senator who come from West Australia take that when they know they chucked her out of here? And what have you done about those senators? Because they just slam dunked you for $43 billion to give the corporation that they really work for more money. Who's going to pay that bill? Well, hello, folks. If you sleep on your rights, you'll lose them. Next one, please. Commonwealth Constitution Act, Section 109. Inconsistency. When a law of a state is inconsistent with a law... Now, is the Acts Amendment, Repeal Courts and Legal Practice Act an inconsistent law with the Commonwealth? Yes. Well, it then says it's invalid before you begin, whacker. Look at it. It says the latter shall prevail and the former shall to the extent of it be invalid. This state, with this Acts Amendment repeal, is riding a dead donkey to nowhere. What's the comparison? Jesus ride a live donkey to the daughter of Jerusalem. The huge difference. One's going to go up Dry Gulch Gully and one's going to get you at the cross. Pick which one you want. Australia Act 1986, Section 6, so it falls on its own sword here. It says manner and form. Now, manner and form is, if there's some conditions in there, you better abide by them. It says, notwithstanding Sections 2 and 3 above, a law made after the commencement of this Act by the Parliament of a State respecting the Constitution, powers or procedure of the Parliament of a State, shall have been no force or effect unless it is made in such manner and form as from time to time be required by a law made by that Parliament, whether made before or after the commencement. Did the Acts Amendment, Repeal Courts and Legal Practice Act abide with its manner and form, which would have let the electorate see it before it was given a royal assent? No. Then that says it's invalid. They haven't got away with it. They've been caught dead in the middle of the river. Now, if you keep the ship anchored in the middle of the river, you will not take the ride to the UN. You get the drift? So we're about to sink their ship. I think they said when they launched the Titanic, even God couldn't sink it. They soon found out that that was a big mistake. Constitution Act Section 73, a bill that... I love it when it's a bill and not an act. Because when it's a bill, you're still in the ball game. When it's an act, you've got to get it repealed. F, the second and third readings of the bill shall have been passed with the concurrence of an absolute majority of the whole number of the members for the time being a Legislative Council, Legislative Assembly. So it's got to have absolute majority. High Courts played a little trick with that one, but not the next section. They didn't touch the next section because they weren't going to even mention it. G, the bill has also, prior to such presentation, been approved by the electors. The Acts Amendment, Repeal Courts and Legal Practice Act, which took the Crown out, which is what your Commonwealth Parliament is, and it's the superior parliament, legislation or constitution. Did they ask your consent? No. Because it's saying it there that they had to. And a bill is sent to or consequent upon its presentation in contravention of this subject shall be of no effect as an act. They've rewritten your laws on a dead donkey. Hello, Aussie. Come on. Next one, mate. Commonwealth Constitution, Section 128. Now, it's all in here. I won't read the lot. I've done it for the purpose of the DVD. We didn't just proportionalise it. So I won't run through every section. But Section 128 is the section, the only section... Can you go back one slide, please, Darren? No, that one. It says mode of altering the Constitution. this Constitution shall not be altered, shall not be altered. That's a legal word. That's in your Constitution. That means it's in the contract. They say it's not a contract because it's not agreement.